If you're a gamer, you already know there's more to a setup than just having a piece of wood or metal to throw your PC on. Aesthetics are part of the experience, and comfort is something you just can't put a price on. So today I'm going to review my Secret Lab setup and tell you if I actually think the brand lives up to the hype. So my modest little gaming corner kind of started out as a spot just to edit sim racing videos. Like I had already built my sim rig and I just wanted a spot to like stream and edit my videos from and stuff like that. At the time, I didn't necessarily intend on it being not only a spot that I film from, but also that I would start dabbling in a lot of different PC games and actually use the desk as much as I did. And as it took on more function, it had to become more aesthetic for, different filming reasons and stuff like that. And that's kind of where Secret Labs came in. My first purchase was the Secret Labs Magnus desk. I was committed to having a larger surface area, room for all my gadgets. Plus, I like to run low DPI on my mouse, so I need a lot of room to move it around when I'm gaming and stuff like that. But I looked at a lot of desks previously, and one of the things that kept bringing me back to Secret Labs, and I did find it with one other desk that I was looking at, is the cable tray. Now, I'm somebody who likes to test a lot of different kind of hardware and switch things in and out. And sometimes that means I'm dropping cables in, taking cables out. With the cable management tray, I've saved hours of time not having to undo a bunch of cable managed wires and stuff like that. I'm able to maintain an aesthetic appearance without, all the mess. And that's something that was like a key selling point. Another thing I really like about the desk, and this wasn't a selling point, it wasn't something that I initially had considered, but it's grown on me and it's something I really like, is the mag pad. Now, should I decide to change the room up at all or change the overall aesthetic of my setup, instead of having to buy a whole new desk, I can just order a different mag pad. They come in so many different colors, have cool designs. I just think like ultimately the leather quality, the whole thing is just it's nice. I like it. I didn't expect to really care, but MagPad is pretty awesome. As for assembly of the desk, it was pretty simple. I think it's 4 bolts per leg, and then you probably have about 6 miscellaneous bolts to attach the cable tray. So setup of the desk was a breeze. It's a bit heavy, so if you're not necessarily up for the heavy lifting, then something to consider. But like bringing the desk upstairs was probably the hardest part of setting it up. And the other nice thing about that is because it's metal, you can get all kinds of magnetic options to manage cables. I put my phone mounts on it. I mean, there's like the options are endless with a metal desk. And I think over the having to add, like being able to add to it and do different things with it, and the things Secret Labs coming out with, definitely on the right track with that. In addition to the desk, I also opted for the $99 riser. This was something I was kind of surprised when it arrived to learn isn't solid metal, and I guess if you read the details, but from the appearance online, it looks like it would be solid metal. It's kind of a composite deck with a metal cover, still completely solid. It achieved both, the aesthetic look I was going for, and gave me more space on the desk and kind of lifted the monitors up. So all in all, I'm happy with it. One inconvenience I found with the riser is in order to make adjustments, I have to remove my monitors, remove the monitor mount, which I already had to get a low profile monitor mount, so it's not necessarily like a quick process to take that off. And then once the monitor mount's off, I can remove the lid to make adjustments to the riser. Kind of an inconvenience. I don't do a lot of changes with the desk setup, so it's not that big of a deal, but just something to note if you're somebody who tends to tweak things a lot. Like there is a process behind it, and I was kind of surprised at the complication of it just a little bit, but overall, like it mounts sturdy, and I think the way it's designed gives it a super clean look because you can't see any of the hardware that mounts it. So all in all, it serves its purpose. It looks great, and it functions exactly how I needed it to. Now let's talk about the Titan Evo chair. Out of the box, I was pretty impressed with the build quality. It's got a solid metal base for the wheels. The seat attaches to a nice sturdy base on top. Like the overall quality, you could tell like everything is built very, very well. Ease of assembly, honestly, I think, you probably go through about 8 bolts to put it together. Everything else kinda just snaps in place. I mean, even the little armrests, they're magnetic, pop in place. You can upgrade them, change them out. So there's a lot of great things about the chair in terms of like build quality. Now, another thing that I found like really, really great about this chair is there's just so many different ways to adjust it. I mean, it has a nice tilt back to it. It reclines all the way back. I could literally take a nap in this thing. Lumbar support is fully adjustable. Armrests come up and connect really nicely at the level of the desk. So when I'm gaming, instead of having to slide my hand around on the desk, I've got like a nice surface to rest my arm on. Um, just about everything about this chair is absolutely amazing. The one thing, the one thing that I was really surprised by, and it's almost shocking the first time you sit in this chair, is how firm the seat is. I did not expect it. I thought there would be at least a little bit of cushion, but my goodness, the first time I sat in it, I thought I was sitting on a piece of plywood. I was kind of like, for the chair and what it is, I just expected it to have like just a little bit of padding to it, but this cold foam is like rock hard. And you do kind of settle into it as you sit in it for a little bit. But the one thing I'm finding is like it doesn't really take like after several months of using it, it still hasn't broken in a whole lot. And it's still like for short stints, not bad. Gaming marathon, you start to feel like the firmness of the chair. The flip side of that, though, is it's so supportive that I don't find my back hurting or find anything else uncomfortable. I just start to feel like I've been sitting on something hard for a little too long. So I think they could have done a little better with the padding or provided some kind of desk mat or something like that. But outside of that, like the overall like build, the appearance, everything else about the chair is great. All right, and lastly, the most recent addition I've made to the Secret Lab setup. I like to sit more at an inclined angle that leaves my feet lightly on the floor, if at all. I'm kind of tall. I don't like my knees bound up. So, in general, I find this to be the most comfortable seating position. But occasionally, I want somewhere to rest my feet without it being firm on the floor and kind of something to feel like I'm leaning back in. So, I decided to pick up the Secret Labs footrest because it matched the setup and I needed a footrest. That being said, it's a nice sturdy piece of foam. I mean, like even when you put pressure on it, it's not going through the floor. I love the plush top on it. It feels great on my feet. Just an additional piece of comfort. That being said, it's a very simple thing. Pretty much any footrest probably would have done. I just like that it matched the setup. If you have the budget and the means, I highly recommend it. If not, I'm pretty sure any budget option for a quarter of the price would do the same thing. But overall, just something I wanted to bring up as I'm talking about the setup. So, in considering the entire Secret Lab setup, I would have to say I'm most pleased with the Magnus desk. Just the overall ability to both expand it, which is why I didn't go with the sit stand desk, is I wanted to be able to add L shape or even maybe a U shape at some point. So the expandability, just the overall size of the desk, the cable management tray, obviously, and the aesthetics. I would say that is by far my favorite of of my Secret Lab setup. The chair, I can't help but wonder because I was kind of tossed between that and going with a Razer gaming chair, which one I would have been more happy with. Ultimately, I find that the Secret Lab chair is super comfortable, and as long as I'm not in it for too long, it's it does everything I need it to. I don't know that any other chair would have been any different in the price range. Now, obviously, everybody's go-to would be Herman Miller. Wasn't something I was considering necessarily because I just like honestly, this is a sim racing room. If I'm spending too much time at the desk, I'm not over there sim racing, which is a totally different racing seat that I need to be comfortable in. So, like, it wasn't that imperative that the chair be long term comfortable, though occasionally I do like a little gaming marathon. And the thing is, regardless of what I do and don't like at this point, I committed to Secret Labs fully. I invested, and I have no intentions of making any major changes anytime soon. First off, because there's not any reason to. Second of all, because, like I said, I'm heavily invested in it. But if I had to recommend one thing out of the whole setup, it would definitely be the desk. All right, guys, so make sure you guys hit that follow button for more sim racing and gaming tips, tricks, reviews, updates, whatever is going on in the world that I feel like I'm going to talk about. This month could be a huge milestone for the channel. It's been, I don't know, 3 or 4 years of intermittently building this thing, and we're 40 subscribers away from 1,000. That's a pretty big milestone for me, something that, like, when I started the channel, I was committed. No matter how long it takes, I'm going to at least get to 1,000 subscribers, because that was like, it's so rare to even do, which is crazy to me. But anyways, so to celebrate that, we're going to do some giveaways. It's not going to be anything too crazy, you know, like I'm not going to promise a whole lot on this because, you know, we're not a big channel yet. I don't necessarily have the support to do big giveaways, but I got a few things. I'm going to give away to celebrate and to give back to those of you who have followed the channel and supported for so long. And just know that I greatly appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.